Well, it's time to get the view of the opposition. Shadow Chancellor Sir Mel Stride is here with us. I'm really interested in your take on this ban that we've seen come into play today in Australia. Social media for under 16, so that's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, the whole lot of it, they're not allowed to access it. Is that something that we should be considering here?
I think we should look at all options around social media, because I do think that they can have a really detrimental effect, particularly on younger people's mental health, and we have seen a very dramatic increase in mental health issues amongst younger people. We as a party, of course, already have a policy where we think that mobile phones should be kept out of schools, for example, shouldn't be interrupting that process of learning. But I think what Australia is doing is interesting, and we should look at it closely.
I find it quite interesting hearing this from a Conservative, because you kind of, I guess you kind of instinctively think that you're going to be more kind of free market, less kind of regulation. But it does feel like on this, under Kevin Badenoch, you're actually a little bit more hardline than Labour. Is that fair?
Well, it's up to other parties to decide where they are on these matters. But I do think, I mean, I've got 3 daughters, actually, and 2 of them sort of younger, and I've seen them go through living through social media and all of that stuff. And I think it is quite a high level of pressure on young people, you know, particularly girls, actually, you know, in terms of trying to conform to these kind of idealised versions of what they might be and so on, being connected to your friends 24/7, so that, you know, if an argument kicks off, it can carry on at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know. So I think there are extra stresses that it brings. So, look, I'm not advocating doing what the Australians have done, but at the same time, I do think this is interesting, and I think we should have a look at it.
Is it quite tough on parents? Because there'll be some people watching it who'd be like, look, it's parents' job, just don't let them on it.
Well, I think it's important, and there are parental controls on phones, but as we know with young people, they are past masters at getting around all these different things that you put in there to stop them doing things. And we, of course, in our way did, in different respects, the same thing back in the day when we were younger. But no, I think parents have a real responsibility. And parents need to really think about these issues, you know, and spend time with their children to sit down and talk about it and find out what they're up to and what they're doing and what they're being exposed to.
It's interesting you say about getting around things when you're younger. I can't imagine you as a rebellious teenager.
I don't think I was. I don't think I was an incredible rebel, but I'm sure I must have, I don't know, gone and scrumped some apples from a farm or something at some point when I grew up in a village. You know, something terrible like that.
So today you are calling on the Chancellor to apologise for misleading the country over her budget. I mean, is that a bit strong?
No, I don't think it is. I think you've got a Chancellor who said when in opposition she wasn't going to be putting up taxes on working people, then broke the manifesto, then in the recent budget came back for more tax, saying that she wasn't going to do that, and once again on hard-working people, and took a choice to actually tax people in work in order to put up benefits to support and provide benefits for people who are out of work. And I don't think those are the right choices for her to have made.
I mean, I guess, you know, is there a situation in politics where we all need to be a bit less kind of Punch and Judy, a bit yah-boo, and be like, look, when circumstances change, it is OK for you to do the right thing as a politician in your mind to try and react to that? Because she would say that the situation was worse than they realised when they were in opposition because they didn't see the full extent of the book. She will also say that there have been massive headwinds on the economy from, you know, Donald Trump, for example. She's saying there's been an impact from Brexit as well. It's OK to change your mind. Well,
I think what she's saying is it's anybody's fault but mine, which is what you're demonstrating. But look, as to yah-boo politics, our motion is very forensic. And as to misleading, one of the elements in our motion is what the Chancellor had to say on the 4th of November at that press conference that she organised when she misrepresented the state of the public finances. She had had pre-measures forecasts from the OBR a few days earlier, which clearly showed she was running a surplus against her fiscal targets, and yet led the public and the markets to believe that things were really dire. And that was going to be the reason why, at that point, she was suggesting or the Treasury was suggesting that income tax would have to rise, and that isn't the right thing to do. It's also a breach of confidentiality with the OBR, actually, because there should be confidentiality around those forecasts between the Treasury and the OBR, and she's breached that as well, and that's also in our motion. So I think we need to dig into these things in a bit of detail.
Do you think every Chancellor whose budget's gone down badly should apologise? Should, you know, Liz Truss the next YouTube show?
The final arbiter is the electorate. So I think if you have a manifesto, you stick to your manifesto, you manage the economy, and whatever happens, then the electorate make their decision. I think what we're looking at here is something very different, which is that there was a manifesto that was breached. There were promises that were made at the time of the previous budget that taxes wouldn't be going up on working people, and yet that has been reneged upon in order to fund more on the benefits bill. And that, I'm afraid, is a breach that we should be holding her to account for.
Can I ask you about comments that Donald Trump has made about the London Mayor Sadiq Khan? He said that he's disgusting. He said that he was elected, in Donald Trump's words, because so many people have come in, i.e. because of immigration. Will you condemn the comments that have been made by Donald Trump?
I would not use those remarks and that terminology. I think as to the overarching point as to how successful Sadiq Khan has been as London Mayor, I would probably find more common ground, because I think if you look at things like crime, and I talk to businesses in London regularly, those sort of battling away on the high street with their shops and things, it has got out of hand. Look at housing, those kind of areas.
There's fair political criticism,
so. Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
But calling someone disgusting, I mean, that is...
Well, as I say, I would not use that language.
Why not?
Because I don't think it's an appropriate way to refer to the Mayor of London.
OK, thank you very much indeed. Good to have you on the programme. Mel Stride, the Shadow Chancellor.